Hey, hey! I hope you guys are all doing wonderful. Thank you for tuning in to find out a little bit more about what the differences are between LLCs and corporations and why you might need one or the other. So first, let's talk about big picture. LLCs and corporations are they're business entities. They're like an umbrella for you to house your business in, and they provide you legal protection from lawsuits, legal protection from debts that the business may owe. It protects you personally from having to pay out any money for a debt that's owed to the business, and it also protects your personal assets if the business owes a debt, right? So like maybe you are starting up with a whole bunch of capital, or maybe you're not starting up with a whole bunch of capital, but you have a lot of personal assets, right? And so you go into business and the business falls behind. The debt that the business owes will stay with the business and not come after you directly if you have your business housed under an LLC or a corporation. Also, having a business entity allows you to grow. It allows you to bring people into your business as part owners. If you have a corporation, it allows you to get shareholders or investors in a number of different ways. So really having a legal entity sets you up not only for protection, but it really, really sets you up for growth. And because I want all of you guys to do really, really well, and I want you to do this business thing right, I want you to be set up for legal protection and, just as importantly, also for growth. So let me tell you about an LLC. An LLC is the easier of the two entities to form. You can form an LLC as long as you were not a licensed professional. Okay. Another thing that an LLC can do, or I guess maybe a restriction for an LLC, is that if you want to bring in an owner, that part owner owns part of the LLC, unlike a corporation where you can bring in a part owner and give them a set of shares. That doesn't make them a controlling sort of business owner of the LLC, of the corporation, right? So LLCs, they're much simpler to start up. They are sort of an extension of you as an individual tax-wise, right? So the business doesn't pay tax and then you as an individual pay tax. The business has its write-offs, and whatever income or loss that the business incurs, you as one of the owners or as the sole owner have to either pay taxes on the business income, or you get to write off the loss on your personal income taxes. So that's called a pass-through or flow-through business tax structure, okay? I always encourage people to talk to accountants to understand the tax implications of each structure, so definitely do that if you have those questions. So LLC, it's easier to get started when you bring in people who want to invest as owners. They become part owner of the LLC. They don't have to own the same amount that you owe. You could give someone 10% interest for the equivalent of whatever dollar amount that is to you, right? You can set it up so that some people are limited in terms of their liability, and usually that'll just kind of depend on what their ownership interest is. Let's see, is there anything else really, really exciting about LLCs? I think that's pretty much it. Corporations, though, are sort of a different beast. They're much more complicated, and the reason is that they have much more regulatory requirements. So professionals out there, licensed professionals, attorneys, doctors, social workers, acupuncturists, nurses, if you guys want to start a business in your profession, you have to, by law, start a professional corporation. Professional corporations are reserved for professionals, not as in I've been doing this job for X number of years, so I'm a professional, but a professional as defined by the California Corporation Statute. So usually that's somebody who's licensed, like all of the folks that I just mentioned before. Professional corporations have one type of stock, So one type of shareholder, and you guys all share, not necessarily in equal parts, but you all share a part of the business, okay? Regular corporations or non-professional corporations can have two different types of stock. One, like an owner founder stock that owns equity interest in the company. And then there's another called common stock, which is like how we do where we buy shares in Facebook or now in Uber or Lyft, right? If you are not one of the founding members of the company, you don't have a say in how the company operates, only maybe by voting, but it's, you know, your one voice mixed in with hundreds of thousands, if not millions, right? So that's a good way if you were thinking of building a company where you're trying to get investors, but you want the investors to have some interest, right, but not controlling interest, then you might think about starting a corporation. Now, it is truly much more complicated than I'm making it sound right now, but I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of information so that when you're looking at what courses and things like that I have to offer, you have a little bit of a basis from which to build that understanding. Usually, like if you're in the fitness industry, if you're in clothing or retail, an LLC might be a really good structure for you, right? If you know that you need a lot of investment capital and you're thinking of maybe going public one day, then maybe a corporation will be better for you. If you are a licensed professional and you don't want to be a sole proprietor, which I do not generally recommend that anybody be a sole proprietor because I want you to have that legal protection, then you have to be a professional corporation. So if you want more information, if you want to have me walk you through the process of creating either one of those entities, let me know. Reach out, holler at me, make a phone appointment with me. Right now, I'm running the course From Me to LLC, where I am walking you through the process of forming your own LLC, telling you what to do after it's formed, how do you handle taxes, what are the filings you need to be aware of every couple of years, all those next steps that I don't want you to have to figure out by trial and error, but I want you to know because I've given you the information, right? And then pretty soon I'm going to be launching a cohort for licensed professionals. And I think I'm going to narrow it down to do a business launch class for health and wellness, whether you need to form an LLC or a professional corporation. And so in that, we'll get you formed as a business entity. We'll get you set up with proper bank accounts. We'll get you started on marketing, and we'll get you started thinking about what kinds of packages and offerings you're going to be offering to your clientele. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, let me know. I'm really excited to do this. I've been teaching full-time for the past couple years, so I know that I can give you the information. I know the information because I am an attorney, and on top of that, I actually have a business degree. So, and I'm an entrepreneur myself, so I do know a little bit about a little bit, and I would love to share what I know with you because I want I really genuinely want each and every one of you to be successful, okay? So let me know where you have your questions, and I hope to see you soon.